Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Alright folks, we've got a situation brewing that could shake up the entire AFC North and more specifically, impact the Steelers' plans for this season and beyond. It's about Tyreek Hill, one of the most electrifying wide receivers in the league, and the potential chaos surrounding his future in the NFL. Now, Hill has been in the headlines lately for two very different reasons. First, there's the ongoing investigation into domestic violence allegations, which have once again cast a shadow over his career. And second, there's the buzz about his possible trade, with teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers showing interest in acquiring him. This isn't just a rumor, folks. It's a situation that has the potential to dramatically alter the landscape of the AFC North and the NFL as a whole. Let's start with the context here. Tyreek Hill, as many of you know, is a game-changing talent. Speed like his is rare, and his ability to stretch defenses and create big plays is unmatched. His explosiveness and game-breaking ability have made him one of the top wide receivers in the league, and it's no surprise that teams want him. The Dolphins, who picked him up a couple of seasons ago, have been trying to build around him, but recent developments have put everything on hold. The NFL has launched its own investigation into the domestic violence allegations. TMZ reported that Hill's estranged wife, Kita Vaccaro, accused him of 8 different incidents of domestic violence. These are serious allegations, and while Hill has not been sentenced or convicted, the NFL's investigation could lead to disciplinary action, possibly a suspension. Now, here's where it gets interesting for Steelers fans. The rumors about Hill's potential trade are not just idle chatter. There's genuine interest from teams like Kansas City, his former team, and Pittsburgh. The Steelers, as many of you know, are always looking to bolster their receiving core. They're in the market for a dynamic wide receiver to pair with DK Metcalf, who's already established himself as a top target. Adding someone like Hill would immediately change the offensive dynamics. Imagine a Steelers offense with Metcalf stretching the field and Hill exploding on those quick routes, turning short gains into massive plays. It's the kind of move that can elevate an offense from good to elite, especially when you're aiming for another Super Bowl run. But here's the catch. There's a significant concern within the Steelers' front office. According to NFL insider Mike Florio, the team is wary of investing a day 2 draft pick, something in the range of a third-round pick, in a player who might end up sidelined for more than half of the season due to suspension or other disciplinary issues. This hesitation is understandable. Giving up a valuable draft pick for a player who might not be available for a large chunk of the season doesn't make strategic sense, especially for a team that's so clearly aiming for a deep playoff run. The Steelers have been building a strong, competitive roster, and while adding Hill could be tempting, they're weighing the risk of losing that investment if he's unavailable. Interestingly enough, this situation with Hill isn't just about the Steelers or the Dolphins. The Chiefs, his former team, are also in the picture. They know his talent better than anyone and might be interested in bringing him back if the circumstances align. However, with the ongoing investigation and the potential for suspension, the Chiefs and Steelers are both cautious. The NFL's discipline process can be unpredictable, and that's what makes this whole scenario so volatile. If Hill were to be suspended for more than 6 weeks, it could significantly impact his trade value and the return teams are willing to offer. Now, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. The AFC North has been fiercely competitive in recent years, with the Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and Steelers all vying for supremacy. The Steelers, under Mike Tomlin's leadership, have always been a team that values solid defense, strong running games, and strategic passing. But to truly contend for another Super Bowl, they need explosive playmakers on offense. DK Metcalf has been impressive, but adding a player like Hill would open up a whole new level of offensive versatility. It would force defenses to commit extra resources, creating more opportunities for other players and potentially making the Steelers' offense unstoppable. Of course, it's not just about adding talent. It's also about the long-term implications. The Steelers have a history of making smart, strategic moves rather than rash trades. They're known for their disciplined approach and for drafting well players like T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and others have been cornerstone pieces for this franchise. But sometimes, in the NFL, the window for a championship is narrow, and teams are willing to take calculated risks if it means putting themselves over the top. The question is whether the Steelers see Hill as that kind of game changer, or if the risk of his off-field issues and potential suspension outweighs the reward. In the end, this situation with Hill is still very fluid. The NFL's investigation is ongoing, and the league's disciplinary actions could be announced at any time. If Hill is suspended, the trade talks might cool off, or they could still proceed with the understanding that his availability is uncertain. For the Steelers, it's a delicate balancing act. Do they gamble on his talent and hope the league's punishment isn't too severe? Or do they stay cautious and look elsewhere for their big offensive upgrade? It's a tough call, but one that could define the franchise's direction for this season and even beyond. And let's not forget, adding Hill would come with a significant cost. Even if the Steelers decide to go all in, they'll need to weigh whether giving up a third-round pick is worth the potential payoff. It's a gamble, no doubt about it. But in the NFL, sometimes you have to take risks to reach the pinnacle. The difference between a Super Bowl champion and a team that falls just short can often come down to a single player or a bold move. If the Steelers believe Hill can stay on the field and contribute, it might be a risk worth taking. But if the league's investigation results in a long suspension, then perhaps it's better to hold onto those draft picks and focus on building from within or finding other avenues to improve the team. What's clear is that the Steelers are watching this situation very closely. They've been competitive for years, and with a roster that includes emerging stars and seasoned veterans, they're always looking for that extra edge. Whether that be through internal development or strategic acquisitions, the goal remains the same: contending for another Super Bowl. The potential addition of Tyreek Hill is a storyline that has everyone in Steelers Nation buzzing, and it's a reminder that in the NFL, nothing is certain until it's official. But one thing is for sure, if Hill does end up in Pittsburgh, it will shake up the entire division and send shockwaves through the league. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you believe the Steelers should pursue Tyreek Hill despite the risks? Or do you think they're better off investing in other areas? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Steelers news. We're in an exciting, unpredictable season, and every move counts in the race towards Super Bowl glory. Thanks for being with me today, and as always, let's keep that Steelers pride alive and roaring.